Here we go, fellas. Here we go.
Let's go, baby.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Pregame Lounge. We are presented by Bet365. Never ordinary. Here to get you set for Nuggets, Pistons. The Pistons are in town. I'm Harrison Wynn. That's Eric Wedum.
I have only one thing to say. Srećan Božić, to you and to you.
Oh, thank you.
Say it one more time.
One time is all the time. Not sure I got it off
I think
right.
you were saying Merry Christmas.
I was saying Merry Christmas.
Ah, thank you. Thank you very much. That's Superstar Dev.
I like the Pistons matchup. You just don't want to be the team that loses to
They
the
mercifully
worst team.
They mercifully already broke the streak, so
No, it doesn't matter. You don't want to lose. You definitely don't want to be the defending champions and lose to the Pistons. That just does not happen.
it's a fair point. That's a fair point.
Yes, the 3-32 Detroit
Say
Pistons.
that one more time. How many losers lounges?
3-32
32
Detroit
loser
Pistons.
lounges.
Yeah.
That would not be fun.
32 losers lounges.
How many? They had like 27.
We usually don't
losers
have that
lounges.
many in a whole season.
They had 27 in a row or something like that.
They
right?
had 27 losers lounges in a row.
What do you think we would talk about if we had 27 losers lounges?
Well, first off,
in a
it
row?
would
You
just
probably have to do so many snake drafts at that
oh
point.
yeah, and it wouldn't be the losers lounge. It would just be the lounge. Like that's just the lounge.
I know, man. You got to
I'm
really,
back here with the fellas.
really be
In the
reevaluating
lounge.
your life after some of
the
those
Shadow
games.
Realm.
But yes, the Pistons, they are 3-32. They had that mega losing streak, of course. Then they won a game. Now they've lost 3 in a row since that game. So, maybe about to go on another historic losing streak. We'll see. Nuggets injury-wise, everybody's healthy except Julian Strawther. He remains out with a knee contusion / sprain for the Pistons. They don't have any major injuries. They're relatively healthy. Friend of the show, Monte Morris of the Detroit Pistons, not playing tonight, has not played all season.
He said he's coming back this month, though.
I did
right?
see that,
I think
yeah.
that he said that. I don't know why anybody would care at this point because they've lost so many games.
Is
Maybe
he
you
just
need
putting
to
that out there for any team maybe trying to trade for him?
For sure. There's no way that he's like, I'm excited to be a Piston. There's no
Yeah.
way you lose that many times in a row. You're still excited to be part of that organization. I just couldn't do it.
That's tough. I mean, you're happy to be in the NBA.
He's been
no.
there before.
Okay, fine.
The Pistons last game, they're coming off a 113-109 loss to the Warriors. In that game, Cade Cunningham, 30 points. I mean, he's been the one shining star for them over the course of the season. He's now had back-to-back 30-point games, and he's actually had 5 30-point games in his last 6 games.
Is this a perfect time to tell you guys I am a Cade Cunningham lover?
A lover.
I mean, on the other side of things, I'm sure you'll be taking his props.
That's all I'm saying. That's a foreshadow.
Dude.
I'm going to take his props. I'm just gonna let y'all know right
Kate
now.
Cunningham, great player.
I
Great
hate
player.
that he's with the Pistons.
Well, that's what happens when you're a great player. You go to a terrible team.
You could go to another bad team. You don't have to go to the worst team in the history of basketball.
I mean, that's a fair point, but I mean, he's part of that team.
He's probably the reason that they lost 27 in a row.
My question for you guys, though, to start off this show, what will you do if the Nuggets lose this game?
Oh my god!
What
Christmas?
will you do
On
if
Serbian
the Nuggets
Christmas?
lose to the Pistons on Serbian Christmas?
I'm going to call in for the next 2. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah,
Adam
dude.
is going to be livid.
Yeah.
I'll call in for the next 2. I just wouldn't be able to stomach it. I wouldn't be able to go through what's happening there. Also, what does that mean about Denver? You'd probably start hearing stories that are not supposed to come out if they lost to the Pistons. There will be more than conversations, I'll tell you that.
Wow. So Dev's ready for disaster. He's preparing for this.
No.
What would I do? I would be very unhappy.
Yeah.
I would I would begin to emotionally eat, maybe chocolate. Maybe I would get
I'd
a
probably
hamburger.
do that as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll buy churro.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to speak on it too much. I don't want to accidentally manifest this. I just say it would be a bummer. I'll say that.
Yeah. Nuggets regular starters tonight: Nikola Jokic, Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., KCP, and Jamal Murray. Like I said, Denver's healthy. It's just Julian Strawther who is injured.
Real fast, the chat. What would you do if Denver loses this team?
Don't manifest
I want to
this.
see what you would do if Denver
What are we
was
doing? doing?
No, this is just a fun idea
How
of like
fun is
how
this?
mad could you be? Just throw it in there. Just say how mad would you be if they lost this game?
And just know that if you put it in there and it happens, you're personally at.
Well, no, you have to do whatever you said that
and
you
you're
would do.
personally responsible for what just happened.
You got to be a man of your
This is
word.
Oprah's The Secret.
Man
This is
or
the power
woman of your word.
attraction.
Sorry.
On that note, Dev, what are you watching for tonight?
I want to see. So really, what I've been seeing lately while watching the Pistons, which I've been
You've
watching.
been locked in?
I just want to see who
Prepping for
loses
this
to that
game,
team.
dude.
My big thing is, how do you defend Cade Cunningham? Other teams have decided to double team him. Denver's not a team that double teams, like, at all. I want to see if KCP adds that to him. If they put KCP on him, he's a point guard, but he's so big of a guy, like a really elite point guard, that I'm like, hey, does KCP add him to like the list of names of people that he locks down and says, hey, this is how I defended this guy in the league? So like my big thing is, how do you defend Cade, especially with him not having the double team or seeing the double team? Does he have another monster game, or is he a part of the list of just people that are in jail?
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to be KCP, or could AG match up on him a little? Because Cade Cunningham, he's like 6'8",
Yeah.
or 6'6", I think, 6'7". He's a big dude, man. He plays physical. I wonder if AG could spend some time on him too.
I mean, that's not so out of the realm of possibility. You see AG and KCP sometimes kind of switch up, like who's on who when there is like a super dynamic player. I mean, I guess we'll have to see. But I would imagine they would prefer to just keep KCP on him and then just like have everybody sort of like guard their natural position.
Yeah, but also you have to defend Bogdanovich. KCP has to be the guy that defends him. So I don't think they could put AG on him, because who do you put KCP on? Puts other people in different situations. I think that you have no choice but to put KCP there, or you keep Jamal there.
The Pistons start a pretty big five size-wise. It's Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, who's their smallest player at 6'4". They got Isaiah Livers, Bogdanovich, and Jalen Duren. Kevin Knox has been playing well for them off the bench. Kevin Knox. He actually has been playing well for them. Pistons fans are like upset he's not in the starting lineup right now.
Remember when he turned the Knicks franchise around?
Off of one summer league game. I was there. I was there for it. But yeah, should be an interesting matchup tonight. Let's get into what I think is the top story heading into this game. We spoke about this a little on the post-game show after the Magic game, which we were sitting courtside for.
I was going to say, I don't know if I'm going to recognize the players tonight not being courtside. I don't know if
close and personal.
I mean, like, who is that? I can't even.
It's going to be the type of thing where you can just never watch a game.
Yeah, I'm just like,
the
is
same
that?
way.
And you're like,
You
that's
gotta ask people around. Hey,
yeah,
Kel, who is number
that's
27?
Jokic.
He's like, Jamal. Duh. I'm like, oh, my bad.
But after the loss to the Magic a couple nights ago, Michael Porter Jr. was asked and answered some questions about maybe how we can get some more shots after the first quarter.
This is the yearly complaint. It's time
We go
for
through this once or twice a year. But let's play his comments from after the game, after that loss to the Magic.
It feels like you have come out, recently in the first quarters and like really looked for your shot, really been aggressive. What are you feeling as the game goes on in terms of like flow and how you're looking for your shot and how you're adjusting?
Yeah, I think it's something we're collectively still trying to master, like continuing to find guys' shots throughout the midst of the game. Because sometimes we play different in the first quarter than we do in the fourth quarter or whatever that may be. And that's a lot of teams. But, Aaron, for example, got most of his shots probably in the first quarter. Didn't really touch the ball in the third quarter or the fourth quarter much. So it was just figuring out, like, when guys – it's a tough balance. When you got a lot of guys who are very capable, sometimes you go a long stretch without really touching the ball. So for me, I kind of realized, like, if I'm going to get some shot attempts up, it's going to have to come in the flow of the game, and I'm going to have to really, at times, be aggressive and things like that. So, it's still a balance we're trying to figure out, I think.
Are you guys having conversations about that, about trying to sort of figure out those rhythms, whether it's the shot balance or anything like that, or is it something that guys sort of need to figure out individually?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's tough, just because we do got a lot of guys who game to game it could be a different hot hand, so we don't really, and that's a blessing and a curse sometimes. I don't know. Maybe the answer is staggering a couple of the starters with the bench unit, or I don't really know the answer. But I do feel like there are times in the game when Aaron doesn't touch the ball for an extended period of time, or myself, or Pope has some games where he's getting like 3 shots up and he's on the floor 35 minutes. So I think it's definitely a tough balance to find, and that's really up to the coaches. They gotta. That's their job. That's not our job. So we just do what we're told. Try to space the floor the right way. Play through big fella, and that's all we can do. And I think as the season goes on, we'll continue to get better and better at finding that balance.
Okay, so as we were talking about right before the video, this is something we talk about once or twice every year.
Yeah.
It's a talking point that comes up once or twice every year. Does Michael Porter Jr. need more shots? Why is he not getting the ball later in games? What did you think of his comments, and what do you think of this whole thing?
I think I just think it's the same. I mean, we literally go through this
we do.
Michael Porter Jr. makes this comment in the playoffs. He wants more shots. I get it, man. The Denver Nuggets are structured in such a way that it is peanut butter and jelly. It is Jokic and Murray, and those are the primary players going down the stretch. That's how it's been. That's how it's going to be. That netted them a championship. I understand the frustration. That's coming off of an exquisitely frustrating loss. So everybody is especially in their feelings about what went wrong. Jamal made a terrible decision down the stretch. Everybody's looking at how the game was structured down the stretch and looking at it with big magnifying glass, saying that obviously there was big problems there. He's not wrong, but he's also not right. It is it's the Denver Nuggets begin and end with Murray and Jokic.
Yeah.
But Porter's a big player, obviously. Also, you got to make sure that he's feeling confident in the flow, he doesn't feel like he's being frozen out. But I don't know. I take any comment that was made after that last game with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
What you guys just saw and experienced is how MPJ feels for the entire game. Things were going good. He was in the groove. Everything was going well. And then he got froze out. Things did not go well after that.
Oh, you mean the stream? Yeah.
That's what he has to see all the time. Everything was smooth. And then he got froze. But my thing with this is I feel like this is the most mature answer. Yeah. We hear this all the time, but it's not like that. And that's a big thing that needs to be discussed more within the organization, because that's the thing that we've been seeing and we've been discussing for a while now. And if he's saying it every single year, that it's a problem every single year.
Well, they won the championship last year.
But it was still a problem. Well, not in the playoffs because he wasn't making shots, but it's still a problem. It makes it easier. It makes it easier when he's in a groove and getting shots just like everyone else. Make him a part of the offense. He gets paid like everyone else.
I mean, they won the championship. I mean, how much do they have to retool?
No, I'm not saying retool, but make it easier for you. Make it easier for your guys. Michael Porter Jr. is part of your guys. He is a big part of this organization. And when he has it going on, you need to make him part of that. And that's just a part of coaching. That's a part of being on the court alongside him, is to just keep him involved as much as possible. He has made as many changes to his game as possible to make sure that he's involved. Make sure that he's involved in every single way. So I'm glad that he actually says something about it in the midst of just winning a championship, because even though they won a championship, it's still a problem in his eyes, and that's why Denver loses some of these games, because that's a real thing.
Yeah. I I guess I kind of come down in the middle of you guys. I think it's a little overblown, but I still think it's something.
It definitely, he's frustrated.
Because it's just so obvious during a game, right? Like, we all see it. Everybody sees it. Everybody sees him get looked off. Everybody sees how he has a quarter to open a game and then somehow only scores 5 points the rest of the way. So I don't think it's like a massive issue that's going to determine how the rest of the Nuggets season goes. But it is something I think the Nuggets can get better at and work on. The most interesting thing I thought he said there was that getting more balance within the offense is really up to the coaches. That's their job.
Yep.
That was interesting, I thought.
Right. And meaning that the coaches are saying, Jamal, Jokic,
Right.
2-man game, do it.
Right. And that actually goes into something Michael Malone said pregame. Kale, if you can bring up that tweet, Michael Malone was asked about
Only if we can
this.
come back from the tweet.
He was asked about keeping Michael Porter involved. And what Michael Malone pretty much just said is that it's a non-issue. That's at least how I took this quote. He said, just keep moving the ball. Most of Michael's shots are through just playing the game of basketball, yada, yada, yada. Obviously, we play at a very high level. But if anybody thinks that offense was the reason we lost that game, I don't really know what you're looking at.
Whoa. That's what was said? That's calling your guy out who called you out.
Yeah.
I've
So
been in enough
I don't think
relationships-
Michael Malone was that pleased with those comments from Michael Porter.
I've been in enough relationships to know that you have to turn it on the opposite.
Yeah.
To make it not about you anymore. Hey, you called me out, I'm going to call you out back to make it okay. But that's a crazy thing to say. It's like, he said it in a mature way of like, hey, I would like to be involved as well. And also, he didn't only make it about him. He's like, Aaron Gordon was doing good, and he didn't get the ball for a long time.
Yeah.
KCP is one of the best knockdown shooters ever.
He did.
And he's not doing it himself.
He did start off that way, but I feel like when he said that's the coach's job, it's really up to them.
I mean, that is part of Denver Nuggets basketball, though.
Yeah.
You know who's going to go through. And I understand keeping the main thing.
Oh, yeah.
But also, at times, you're going to have to, divvy out. You have to put other people involved. I think it just makes it easier. If Jamal and Jokic's 2-man game is going well, but also you could kick it out and have MPJ knock down the 3, it becomes easier. If you could keep Aaron Gordon as involved offensively, it makes it easier. I think that he was just saying that this is going to be easier for you guys to have what you guys are going if everybody else is involved as well. And if you look at Denver's offense, a lot of it is the 2-man game because we've seen what it looks like when the 2-man game is not working. Then you're expecting Michael Porter Jr. to go for 30 points. No, I haven't been part of that the entire time, and now you want me to just be something that I haven't been. So I on this one specifically, I side with Michael Porter Jr. because
I think with MPJ
I think
too,
it makes Denver a lot more dangerous. It makes them a lot better if everyone is as good.
Yeah. Well, can't wait to see what happens tonight. Let's move on real quick. It is Serbian Christmas today, January 7th, as Eric told all of us as we opened the show.
Yeah, dude.
Have you guys ever noticed Jokic's stats on Serbian Christmas, though?
No.
The guy balls out
Yeah, dude.
on Serbian Christmas.
He's doing it for Jesus.
Look at these numbers.
Jesus.
24-13, 38-11, 33-10-7. He's always having good games on Serbian Christmas.
He'll probably get ironically, a super unorthodox shot on Orthodox Christmas.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens against the Pistons tonight. All right, let's fire up the Bet365 app. Let's make some bets tonight. I'm curious to see if Dev has MPJ in any of his bets.
We're about to see in a couple minutes, huh? Let's do this. So Denver comes in this game as 16.5-point favorites.
Wow.
They think they're getting beat to sleep. That's hard, man. I'm not saying they're not going to blow them out, but I refuse to bet on 16.5. That's a lot for anybody.
Is a lot.
Really, anybody. And also, I know that the Pistons at this point needed a better draft pick, but not this early in the season. Those guys are not having fun. They want to play. They want to win. So, I can't bet for 16.5. I would put this lower, -10 maybe or something like that, but just stay away from that. 16.5 is a lot.
It's a lot.
But also, I would not go with Pistons plus 16.5. Denver can blow them out. So I don't love that. The over-under of 200. The over-under is 235. It means that Denver can score when they want to. And Pistons are not super, like, great defensive team or anything like that. But also, you don't know what type of Denver team that you're getting. I'm going to go under 235 in this one. I think that they try to slow down Cade. I think that a lot goes into slowing down Cade, so you're not as involved. But if you are able to slow him down, then I think that you have a better chance at keeping them under on their point totals, not doing as much. So I'm going to go under 235.
Okay.
While we're sticking on that, I'm going to go under 108.5 on Pistons on their side of things.
This should be a munder tonight, right?
The only reason that I say no, I think that Denver is capable of mundering them, but also, like, this is when you look at your schedule, you want to have fun with certain teams that you want to just run it up on them. You don't slow down against the Pistons. Even if they score, you're like, oh, we're out and running. Yeah. So it's hard to make them a munder because you're just going to run so much. So I go under 108.5. I don't know if it is that. But also, they have two guys that can score the basketball. I don't think that that's a recipe
Pistons,
for
I'm
success.
actually looking at it right now. The Pistons have not been mundered since December 15th.
Oh, since Jokbis?
Yeah, so they don't get mundered like a ton. Or they get mundered less than you think they or not as often as you think they would.
Yeah, I don't love that. We talked about slowing down Cade, keeping him under. I don't think it happens. You have to double team that, man, and Denver refuses the double team. I'm going to go over 22.5 points for Cade. I think that they just say, hey, he's really good. You're going to have somebody else beat us. He can beat us, but it's not going to be other people. So I think that over 22.5, I think that's too low. He's elite. I'm a Cade lover. I really think he's been incredible. Even in high school, I thought he was really good. So I'm going to go with Cade on this.
Just listen to some of these Cade point totals recently. 43 back on December 18th, 28, 22, 41, 31, 30, 6. I don't know what happened against the Rockets. 31, 30 in his last two games.
He must have told the ref to F off or something, got kicked out.
He must have called him a shuttlecock.
He must have told him to get off his dongle.
Yeah.
It happens, man. It happens. I've seen it. All right. I'm going to go over Durant, over 23.5 points plus rebounds.
I like this too.
He's a hard worker. He grabs every single rebound. Also, I just love guys that can score and drop coverage because that's what Denver's going to give him. If he can knock down a few floaters, the rebounds are going to be there. His rebounds, just take it. He's going to get it. Now to Denver's
he's a
side
monster
of
on
things.
the glass.
We talked about Michael Porter Jr. Let's start with him. Let's go over Michael Porter Jr. 2.5 3-pointers. He's coming off of just saying that they need to pass it to him more. Guess what they're going to do? They're going to pass it to him more.
So you think we get a correction here and they get Michael Porter the ball more?
Denver's an unselfish team, and if you bring to light, hey, I like what you guys got going on, but also would be like to be involved, Jamal and Jokic are going to say, yeah, we should probably get him involved. They're not thinking that that's like you called me out or anything like that. It's like, I didn't know that he was unhappy with like because we play such a style of brand, like a brand of basketball that's get everyone involved. I didn't understand that. I think that they're going to try to find different ways. Also, Malone could be mad, but he's going to find different ways to get him, more shots. Like he's stubborn enough to like, hey, prove it. Like
I don't know, Dev. Somebody just told me that he gets all his shots within the flow of the offense, not with play calls.
It is probably, in the flow of the offense. I think it is in the flow of the offense. But also you can make more plays. Yeah. Jamal's two-man game with Jokic is in the flow of the offense, but it's a play that they run a lot.
Absolutely.
I'm going to go over 2.5 3-pointers. Let's also stick right there. I think this is an MPJ game. I'm going to go over 24.5 points, rebounds, and assists. If you call people out, you better play well. You just have to. Yeah. Not only do you need to score, but you need to rebound and defend, and also you need to make the extra pass as well.
Yep.
So, like, I know that he has to look within. It's like, hey, we're going to get you the ball, but also you need to play within the flow of the offense. I think that he does that in this game. So I like the over 24.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I think Jamal needs to respond after not having a great game last game. You want to know how he does that? Not with points. You have to get everyone involved. You need to make the extra passes. You got called out also. I don't think this is a Jokic thing. I don't think this is KCP or Aaron Gordon thing. This is a Jamal thing. You're the point guard, and we need more shots. Jamal has to look within. I think over 6.5 assists. It does have a lot of juice, but I think that's where he, steps up. So I'm going to go over Jamal, 6.5 assists. Let's go over 9.5 points for Reggie Jackson. I feel like it has been a long time since we've seen a really good Reggie Jackson game. They're 17-point favorites. You better have a good game against them.
Yep, could be a big night for the bench.
Who's their backup point guard? You
Not
better
Monte
score.
Morris.
That's what you better score against them. So I think that he gets involved. He gets to score. Now for the lock of the game.
Oh, boy.
Let's stick with a player that's been playing well since his return. I'm going to go over.
Zeke Naji? Oh,
points, rebounds, and assists for Aaron Gordon.
Aaron Gordon.
Really?
24.5. He gets it every game now. He's been sneakily putting up monster games because he's not who you're focusing on. And also, like Michael Porter Jr. said, he's going to get his points and his stuff early. It's really part of the offense to get him going early, and then it just kind of opens everything else up. I think that they're going to just feed him very early, so I'm going to go there. I'm going to go over points, rebounds, assists.
I'm pretty surprised you're not going to Jokic on Serbian on Orthodox Christmas, my man. This seems like the layup of the century. His whole country, the country's watching. They all want to see Jokic perform. I mean. No? I mean, I feel like this is a Jokic night, man.
Jokic has showed us that he don't give a fuck. He really don't care about none of that.
Man.
I mean, we just did watch Jokic in a couple games against the Hornets turn in modest stat lines by his
He don't
measure.
care.
How many of those were on Serbian Christmas?
That's a good point. They weren't. I was just comparing opponents, but you're correct.
I just really wish that he cared more. If he was to come out and say, yeah, it's Serbian Christmas, then I would be like, oh, he's all in here. He did get dressed up super nice. He looks nice coming into the game.
He
It was,
did look nice.
it was the Peaky Blinders look.
Okay,
for him.
okay.
He breaks that up
Where
a
he
couple
looks
times a year.
good. So he cares a little bit, but not enough for him.
Oh, man.
I'm telling you, other people look at this on their schedule, they're going to say, yo, I'm going for 50. I'm going for 50. How much do you think Jokic goes for tonight? Honestly.
28.
That'd be an over for points.
That would be the over.
That
I
would
think
be the over.
I think
for points.
he
I think
gets
it's
28.
26.5 his points. What do you want?
Yeah, I would take the over. It's Serbian Christmas, man. This means something
So
to him.
give us two bets.
I love Peyton Watson. I'm taking his points tonight. It's over 7.5. He had a very disappointing outing last time, and I think he really wants to atone. He had foul trouble super early. We saw his frustration. We saw that BS call where he had a clear block right in front of our face. And we also I was just watching him. He was on the bench looking off into the distance. He was very despondent. I see him really wanting to make a splash tonight. And Jokic, man, it's Orthodox Christmas, brother.
It is.
Come on,
All right,
Brate.
let's hit Super Chat before we get out of here. One of those came in. This is from our guy Vlad. I love watching you guys. You get me through some hard times. Jivali, Merry Christmas to you, legends.
Hey, Srećan Božić. To
Thank
you, my
you,
guy.
Vlad.
Levchin
Thank you, man.
Volcic.
Thank you.
Jokic.
Srećan Božić.
All right, guys.
let's
Thanks
go.
for tuning in. Let's watch Nuggets Pistons. Can't wait. Can't wait. Thanks for watching. Throw a quick thumbs up, and we'll see you in the post-game lounge.
Let's go.
We all silly like the mayor.